everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome. I'm back. I'm here, you're here, we're here together. Anywho, it's been a minute, and so I thought, even though I haven't made a video in like, I don't know, a month, I have been reading, so I thought it might be a good idea to tell you some of the things that I've been reading. And because I haven't done a wrap-up since like, July, I'm not going to recap every book that I read. I'll say what it was, but I'm not going to like do a recap of it because you don't have the time for that, and neither do I. I mean, I probably do, but let's, for the sake of argument, say that I don't. So let's just get into it. And if you've read any of these books or you want to talk about some of the other books that I've read, let's chat about it in the comments. So what we're gonna do is I'll tell you what I read and I'll highlight some, whether they were good or bad or whether I just had some thoughts about it, and that's what we'll do. Sound good? Great. So in August, I read Mrs. Everything by Jennifer Weiner. I gave that 3 stars. I read The Editor by Stephen Rowley. I also gave that 3 stars. I read A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin, which is the second in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. I gave that 4 stars. And then I read Authority by Jeff VanderMeer, which is the second in the Southern Reach trilogy. So I'm gonna talk about Authority because I didn't rate it anything. It was relatively short. I listened to it on audiobook, but I cannot for the life of me tell you what it was about. I listened to it, like the whole entire thing, and I don't really know what happened. I remember feeling bored and like I didn't care about any of the characters, which was weird because it was a continuation of the first book and I was wholly invested in that main character. But I guess maybe because she wasn't really present in the second book, I didn't care as much. But this is the reason why I don't have a rating for it. Not because I wasn't paying attention, because I was. And not because I was bored, which I would have just given it like, I don't know, a 1 or 2 or something. But because I don't really know how to feel about this one, but I do want to continue in the series. I want to see how this trilogy ends, if we are able to figure out some of the mysteries that arose in the first book. And you know, maybe there were a few things that I did remember that I did pay attention to in the second book, but I want to see kind of how it ties in better with the first book, maybe. So I will be continuing on, but I didn't rate it because I didn't think it was fair to give it a rating when it technically wasn't the book's fault. I wasn't connecting. It wasn't for me, I guess. So there's that. So moving on to September. Moving on to September, I read 3 romances: The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang, The Right Swipe by Alisha, and I gave those both 4 stars. And then I also read Princess in Theory by Alyssa. I gave that 5 stars. It was my favorite. I also read Hunger by Roxane. I gave that 5 stars. I don't know how I have gone my whole life without reading Roxane, but now I feel like I need to read everything that she's ever written. I also read We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda and Ngozi Adiche, also 5 stars. What else did I read in September? Oh, yes. Then I read Such a Fun Age by Kiley, Reid, which has been loved up and down booktube, and I gave it 2.5 stars because nothing was fun about any of the ages for anybody. It didn't do it for me. My favorite book of the whole month was A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, And that book was living in my head rent-free for weeks. I know that people have been calling it an enemies to lovers story, but I think it was more like the end justifies the means, so enemies to lovers, not really. But this follows Malik and Karina, who are both on different paths to help the people that they love, and so there is a tournament of sorts to figure out who will become the next king. Karina is the princess, and Malik is in the tournament to become king, kind of. But I loved it so much. I cannot wait for the sequel to come out because I need to know what happens with these two main characters. We were left on... Yes, we were left like that, and I need to know how it ends, where this goes, what will happen to my precious Karina and my precious Malik. Then we're going to move on to October. In October, I read John Adams by John McCullough. I gave that 3 stars, and I won't say much about that except that that's part of books I'm reading for presidential biographies. And because the author himself spent more time talking about Abigail Adams and Thomas Jefferson, I think that says more than enough about how this book was. I also read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo and Sadie by Courtney Summers. I gave them both 5 stars, I think. Then I read The Wedding Date, which is the 5th book in the Wedding Date series by Jasmine Guillory, and I gave this 2.5 stars. That actually hurt me because I was looking forward to this. It was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and it just didn't live up to the others in the series. I feel like we spent more time talking about food than we did anything else in the book. And while I'm a sucker for very delicious pizza, cookies, all the things, cakes, I just felt like there was no real plot going on. The characters were just kind of blah. It wasn't my jam, so 2.5 stars. That may be generous, actually. I also read Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. I gave that 4 stars. And that was about chronicling the events leading up to the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. It also profiles H.H. Holmes, a serial killer that was also killing people during the time of the World's Fair. One thing super interesting from this book that I got was that the reason we say the Pledge of Allegiance in school is because someone thought it would be a really cute PR tactic to have all the kids recite this pledge throughout the country on this one day for the World Fair. And so now, every morning when the bell rings, our kids are saying it. I don't even know if they're still saying it. I know I stopped sometime in like 9th grade. Someone should probably tell schools that the World's Fair is over and that we probably don't need to do that anymore. Just a thought, maybe. And then the last book I read in October, and really it's the best for last, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I gave this 5 stars, and if I could have given it 100 stars, I would have, because I loved it so much. It destroyed me emotionally. Not physically, because that's weird. But it was so good. A Song of Wraiths and Ruins was living in my mind rent-free, and it was unfortunately evicted because of Addie LaRue. Sorry. Not sorry. But this is about Addie LaRue, who makes a deal with the devil in 17-something France. I don't remember the year. But she makes a deal with the devil, and there are unforeseen consequences, as deals with the devil usually have. The book explores what it's like to be invisible and to never be able to leave your mark on the world. It also explores what it's like to be everything to everyone and how you can lose yourself in that. And there were just passages. I don't have my book because I let my friend borrow it, and I actually miss it. But I marked so many passages in that book, and it was heartbreaking and beautiful, and I cried more than I would like to admit. I loved it. I'm telling everyone that if you haven't read it, that you should read it. I don't know why you're still here. You should go. Read it. So that was everything that I read in the past 3 months. I can't believe I did this in so short of a time. But if I read any of the books that you've read and you want to talk about it, let's talk about it in the comments. Spoilers are welcome here. Sorry. And drop your thoughts about any of these books in the comments. I would love to hear what you think about any of them. And so until next time, which will not be a month later, I swear. I hope you all have some happy reading and a good day. Bye.